Meeting subcommittee on athletics, arts, music, extracurricular activities. This meeting will be held and will be accessible to the public on Comcast Channel 8 and 1071 HD version, and online via the link www.youtube.com/TheBrocktonChannel. Madam Clerk, Secretary, would you call the rolls for a quorum?
Sure. Chair Pina?
Do I need to do that at this point?
I mean, I got happy to do it.
Okay.
Chair Pina?
Here, sorry.
Ms. Centeo?
Here.
Ms. Oliver?
Here.
And Mr. Rodriguez?
He is not.
Absent. Okay. But we still have a quorum.
Yes, seeing that there's a quorum, did you want to make a motion, Member?
Yes, I'll make a motion to remove approval of agenda. Second?
Seeing that a motion was made and duly seconded, we'll take a, what is it called, a roll call vote.
Okay. Member Pina?
Yay.
Ms. Centeo?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 3, and that is acceptance of subcommittee rules. Let's see. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the subcommittee rules as presented.
On that motion, can you just review the rules just for the residents and the families so we are aware?
Of course you would ask that. We are pausing for 1 second here.
Mr. Pina, if you want to just put it on, right, because I think that's what's making the noise. Or would you want to make it public, available to the public via our page? Like, if they want to read that, and we could just do that?
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to accept of subcommittee rules.
And is there a second?
Second.
Seeing that there's a motion and a second, we'll take the roll.
Mr. Pina?
Yes.
Ms. Centeo?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 4, State of the Athletic Department. Today we have, at this time, I recognize the Athletic Director, Mr. Caro.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Happy to be here to answer any questions and to give you some insight about the state of our athletic program. And I know, Stephen, you had sent a list of things that you would like me to address, and I will do my absolute best to do that. The first being the overall structure of our athletic department, and I'm sorry ahead of time if I'm long-winded, but there is a lot of information to present to you folks, and I just want to make sure that you have all the information you need. Okay? Our sports programs have traditionally been fall, winter, and spring seasons. We are just started our spring season on Monday. Just backtracking, in the fall, we offer the sports of soccer for boys and girls volleyball, field hockey, football, golf, cross country, and cheerleading. This past year, we had 338 students participate in fall athletics at the varsity, JV, and freshman levels. This winter, we have boys and girls basketball, swimming and diving for boys and girls, wrestling for boys and girls, indoor track for boys and girls, hockey, gymnastics, and cheerleading. In this past year, we had 310 students participate in the athletics at the varsity, JV, and freshman levels. And in the spring, we offer baseball, softball, boys and girls tennis, boys and girls track, boys volleyball, and unified track. We won't have the final participation numbers to the end of the season, but last year for those sports, we had 283 students participating in spring athletics at the varsity and the JV levels. As many of you know, Brockton High School has an excellent reputation for its athletic programs, and it is my hope that we can continue that, that moving forward. Are there any questions about our structure as of right now? Is anyone?
No.
Yes.
Just a quick,
all.
can you just repeat the number of like students that participated in the sports? Was it 300?
In the fall, we had 338.
Okay. And that was mostly freshmen or like all?
It was a mix.
Okay.
It was a mix. In the winter, we had 310 students. And last spring, we had 283 students.
Thank you.
That seems like a low number for the amount of kids here. Is there a way that we can increase those numbers? And
Well, we do have, those were the participation numbers. We had quite a few students sign up. Honestly, if I take a look, 527 students registered for fall sports. In the fall, almost 500, 498 in the winter. And in the spring, we had 429. So the signups, the interest is there. We just don't have many spots for a lot of the teams because they only carry between 15 and 18 sometimes.
have we looked at adding any sports like flag football or anything like that that's coming up into the NCAA levels as scholarship?
Well, funny you mentioned that because I did look back at that, and the MIAA voted last year because there was a proposal to recognize flag football, girls flag football as a sport, and it got voted down by the board of directors. So even if we were to have it, it wouldn't be a competitive sport that would fall under the athletic umbrella. It would have to be more or less a club sport right now.
What about any other sports, lacrosse or anything like that? I know we tried that in the past, but
We did try that in the past, and after taking a good, honest look at it, and with our athletic trainer, and the fact that we didn't have a feeder system that taught the kids how to do it, it was out of safety that we decided not to move forward with it, because we did have quite a few injuries, especially on the girls' side where they didn't have the protective gear that the boys did. And some girls got hit in the face and they got hit on the legs, and it got to the point where it just wasn't safe for them to be out there. Yep. Okay. All right. Question number 2, you had participation numbers. I think we ran through those.
Yep.
Coaching, staffing levels, and current assignments. Specifically, what would you like me to speak about as far as that goes?
Are you having any issues with hiring coaches, getting coaches, whether it's in middle school or up to the high school levels?
I think that is an issue not only here in Brockton, but across the state. Getting coaches that are qualified, that fit the time frame where they can be here at the high school. So that is definitely, we have that challenge right now, trying to find a assistant track coach to work with our throwers. We've had multiple job ads, and we haven't had anybody qualified to fit that position yet. So yes, it's a challenge.
What are we doing to try to entice or bring people to the city or to the high school or the middle schools to get them to take those jobs?
Well, I am very in tune with other athletic directors across the state. I always send an email or a text message, hey, if you have anybody that's interested, please send them my way. I'd like to have a conversation with them. But a lot of times, like, we struggle to get coaches. A lot of our surrounding communities also struggle to get people to fill those positions.
Just curious, do we actually reach it back to alumni and ask them if they want to be involved or get involved?
What we have, we're very fortunate that a lot of our coaches that are here right now on staff went to Brockton High School, they played here, and they've come back to work and teach. And that's a network that we definitely try to utilize. And same thing, I always say, if you know someone that's interested in coaching, to please send them my way.
Yeah.
Okay, our athletic facilities. This is always a topic of conversation. And there's quite a few things that are concerning for me moving forward. First and foremost is our turf and track out at Marciano Stadium. It will be coming up on year 16. And thank goodness our outside grounds department has done an incredible job maintaining, and we've done all the required maintenance to it and added infill. But the reality is it's 16 years old, and it really needed to be replaced 2 or 3 years ago. And I said this last time I was here, I always am fearful that when we do the annual GMAX test for field safety, if that does not pass, we are not allowed to have kids practice or play on the turf. We have bids from a couple of manufacturers to purchase the turf. We just haven't gone the next step to put out a bid to actually do the construction. And I just think that that's a financial decision that needs to be made on the city side. I would love to get that done. We have plans in place, we just need to move it forward. And the difficulty is now, since we are so late in the year, if we were to get the funding to get that project completed, I don't realistically think that there's a company that could put us on their schedule to get this done by the time fall sports start in August.
So we have the funding, and we're just waiting on the RFP from Ken, or to be submitted. So we have the funding, and I don't know why it hasn't been sent out for, I know it's not you, it's facilities, but, okay. And so we were pretty close last year with that test, correct?
Very close.
You know how many injuries are attributed to the field and from the last year?
I honestly would have to check with the athletic trainer. I can confidently say that injuries happen in sports, on grass fields, on turf fields. I think that we would say that we had the same number of injuries that we have in the past. There was nothing that was really eye-opening to say, hey, we have an issue with the field, thank goodness. But that GMAX test is scheduled for end of July, after we're done with all of the summer programs and the folks that use that field. So that's what we'll wait for to get the results from that test. Yes.
If I may. So we actually just identified the funding with the city. I do need to just confirm that funding is secured for this. And I think our next step was to put it out to bid. I think the thing that we're trying to figure out now is when we could have it done based on the timeline for all of the different activities. So when is a time range when we could actually have it done? And I think there's a little bit of a concern too that a lot of the timeline that we would have, I think you had identified in time in the summer, but that a lot of those companies that would be doing the work may have already committed to their summer projects. So that was my last conversation with facilities. Again, we could put it out to bid and certainly try, but there was some concern that maybe because we are doing this, we're a little on the late end, that it may be difficult to get it done in the time range that we need. But we will certainly be moving forward with that.
That's great news. All right, the other issue that I would like to bring up.
I'm sorry, can we just back up to the facilities? I'm sorry. So of course, baseball season is starting up.
Yep.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the current baseball facility and where the varsity team's playing?
Well,
where
that
the JV
is one
team's
of my areas of concern, and this is an ongoing concern that we've had since I've been here. And it comes down to who is responsible for getting Campanelli Stadium ready for our baseball season. Depending on who you talk to, the city will say it's the Knockouts' responsibility. The Knockouts will say it is the city responsibility. And the city often will come back and say, since the high school's using it, it should fall under outside grounds. So there has really been no defined owner of who's responsible. I know that Ken and Jamie and our outside grounds guys worked very hard to get it ready last year, but that didn't happen until May.
Yeah, it was last minute, correct?
It was a last minute, we have to get this done. I anticipate the same thing this year. I've had conversations with the ownership and the management over at the Rocks. They do not have anybody on staff to tend to the field right now. And is my understanding after talking with them that the city does not have any people that they can spare to get that field ready. And I think that puts us in quite a bind.
Ms. Oliver?
So, quick question. So we got it ready last May for our students, right? But how did they maintain it throughout the season? Because they also were using it. Were we responsible? Was our facility people like cleaning up afterwards, their game and our game also?
So because we started the season so late in May, the Knockouts had started their season at the same time that we finally got on the field, and they had somebody on staff. And the city bought a mower for the organization, and they trained somebody that was on the Knockout staff to cut the grass a couple times a week. Our outside grounds people were responsible for getting the field ready on game day only. So they would drag the field, line the field, do whatever it took. But ultimately, it was the Knockouts group that finally took care of the field.
But the city bought the lawnmower?
Yes.
On the city, not the Rock management, CEO, the owners.
Purchased it from Boston College. It was a used piece of equipment.
I understand it, but just the fact that the city is willing to buy an equipment for a stadium that is privately owned, but not willing to help us out when it's to open the field for our students. It's very questionable, very like, are you kidding me right now? So
Well, I think it goes back to who, the city owns the Campanelli Stadium, but it goes back to the contract and what the contract says, which we still have not been able to get our hands on a copy of that contract to see whose responsibility
I
it
haven't
is.
seen the new lease. In
Correct.
the past, it had always been the prior contract that was signed when that stadium opened was that the Rocks, or now the Knockouts, were responsible for taking care of that field. And they had a full-time groundskeeper, and he did it. And that lease, the language in the lease has changed over the years, and I have not seen the current lease that is good through, I believe, 2027.
And I'm sorry, you said you started your season in May. How do you,
We started playing over there.
correct. Can
Yes.
you tell us a little bit more as to why you started playing home games in May, where you played all the games before that?
We had to play everything on the road. A lot of our home games, we had to change sites. We had to rent Durfee High School for one game. We had to travel over to Adams Field in Quincy twice, just because the field was unplayable. It was soaked. There were goose droppings all over the outfield. There was areas of the outfield that had been ruined the summer before from a concert that was there that was never repaired properly. And I just did not feel comfortable putting our kids out there on that field or bringing another team in, for that matter, to play on it.
Did you contact Massasoit or Spelman to use their facilities?
Well, we tried to use our Baker School, but that too is always wet, especially early in the spring. And last year we had quite a bit of rain. And I just think any grass field that was in the area had the same challenges that we did. So we made it work, and we were able to get those last few games in. We were able to have our seniors have their senior day at Campanelli, and we made the best of it.
Yeah, just for everyone's knowledge, that field was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Member Rodriguez, but that field was donated to the city, which was a part of the school's property. Is that correct?
I wasn't on the committee at the time, but just to piggyback, I mean, far as Marciano Stadium, and you were talking about Campanelli Stadium, these are facilities for our student athletes. One thing that I would recommend is that a deep title search is done when the school committee actually donated that land to the city. From the original contract that I seen, I think it was in 2001 or wherever, that it actually expired in 2020, which was the actual original contract. There was specific language in there that the school department had some say in usage of the stadium, obviously with the baseball team and the Shaw Center. So I think we need to do work with our council, do a title search and see what restrictions or de-restrictions is on there. I'm praying that the school committee was smart enough to have some language in there that protects the school department. Because one of the things that issues that I've brought up was there was a certain language where revenue that was collected with the previous owner of the Rocks, that the school department, community schools in the city got portions of it. And with my research, the school department has never, ever in the history of that contract received a dime. So that's concerning. The other piece, if we get back to Marciano Stadium, if that GMAX, can you tell, before I go on, if that fails, what does that mean for you as far as scheduling in the athletic department?
It's worst case scenario, and I hope that it doesn't happen, but that would mean that we would have to find practice facilities for everybody that uses the turf. That would be football for practice primarily, field hockey uses it, soccer uses it. So you cannot have them practice or play any games on that. Because if someone were to get hurt and we put them on a field that was deemed unsafe, then that's a bigger problem. Okay. So that would mean that we would have to find alternative venues for every team that uses that the stadium.
Right. The other piece is the school committee did vote to put that out for a bid back in September, October of last year. It's kind of concerning. I understand, on the procurement side, but that procurement needs to go out as soon as possible, regardless of whatever the time frame is to get this done. Because if it fails, you're not using it anyway, so the work has to be done into those regards. But I think obviously this falls under the mayor's authority. Him being the chair of the school committee, he needs to kind of step up and make sure the city side is doing their part, because he's the guy that signs the contract. So I think we should move this discussion on to new business or unfinished business during the regular school committee. So he's well aware, and I know I've worked on projects with him to get our facilities up to par with that. So, but when you're dealing with a third-party rental and city side kind of leaves it bare bones to, hey, this person would do it, that person do it, and then our students are not being able to utilize the field. But when that contract was revised, was your office including, was there any Q&A as far as what you need, how the school is, because, the language was already embedded in there, so.
Ken and I did have a meeting 2 years ago. Or was it, it could have been last year when they were going to redo the lease. And I did explain when our season started, when we played our games, when we, needed the stadium. And the woman that was writing, the attorney that was writing that contract was supposedly going to put that language in, but I have not seen what the new lease is.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so another thing that I would love to see, right now we have one athletic trainer that oversees all those student athletes that we talked about earlier. And a lot of times she can't be in two places at one time. In the fall, we have 7 different sites that our teams play on. And there's only one Brianna, and we're thrilled that we have her, and she does an amazing job. But having an extra athletic trainer to help support her throughout the year would be an an incredible addition to our athletic program, especially now that the MIAA has mandated that our athletic trainer travel to all football games home and away. So there have been times where our trainer has been at a football game, say in Lincoln Sudbury, and we have a volleyball match going on in our gym, we have a field hockey game, we have a soccer game, and we have no athletic trainer coverage. And thank goodness we haven't had anything major happen, but it could.
Understanding she has a superhero last name, but she can't be at multiple places at once. In the past, I believe there was we had a specific athletic trainer just for football, and then there was another one that worked with the rest of the sports. Is that what you're looking for? Is someone that's specifically for football? And then
Since I've been here, we've only had one trainer to cover everything.
okay.
And like I said, she is one person that does her absolute best, and her golf cart probably has more miles on it than my car does. But she just can't be at football practice, volleyball games. I mean, just.
And is she a contract employee or is she a?
She is subcontracted through Signature Health.
Any questions? Go ahead, Ms. Oliver.
For those other games, do we have like one of our nurses on the field in case of a like injury or medical crisis emergency at all?
No.
Okay.
We've instructed our coaches that if is there a medical emergency, they call 911.
When we have, is anybody, even the coaches, have a AED with them during practice at least?
We do.
Okay.
We do have anybody who travels away from the building, like out on the back soccer fields or out on the side fields. They are all issued an AED at the beginning of the season. They're all trained on how to use it. And we make sure that all staff and students and coaches know the emergency procedures if there is a medical emergency.
And you have enough in the building for each coaches for different sports happening at the same time?
Fortunately, yes.
Thank you.
And is that with the middle schools as well?
I am not sure how the middle schools operate as far as having an AED. I can't speak to that.
Are all the coaches trained on? I'm not going to say first responder.
First aid
but,
and safety?
Yeah. In
The
concussion protocols.
majority of them are. That's one of those that we've worked with Linda Cahill. Last year, she did workshops
Yeah.
and trainings for our coaches to go. But we still need to tie up some loose ends to make sure that everybody is first aid certified.
And was it called Heads Up certified as well? That's the concussion
The
protocol?
concussion protocol, yes.
Okay.
All right, another area, and with being an old building, our pool last fall was deemed unsafe for diving. So we could not have any of our student athletes who competed in dive practice or compete in our pool. So we had to actually rent out Massasoit's pool for the winter. And unfortunately, we weren't able to host any diving competitions that were associated with our swim meets. And that won't change until the pool is brought up to code.
This is the first I've heard about it, but what is the issue?
I want to say that our pool is 1 foot too shallow. Where it pitches toward the deep end, and we have had kids in the past that have hit their head on the bottom of the pool, and it was during the audit of the building that one of the engineers strongly suggested that we do not allow anybody to dive in that swimming pool for liability reasons.
That sounds like a extremely big project to go down another foot.
Yeah,
Okay.
and with that, you would have to keep in mind that you would have to bring up the pool to ADA compliance, and right now we're grandfathered in, but the deck area is not wide enough. We don't meet any ADA requirements right now in our current pool.
So did we just find this out this time? So all this time the pool has been used.
Turn on your mic. Turn on your mic.
Sorry. So did we just find this out like
We found this out in the fall, right before the season
all
started.
this year? We've
All
been
these years, we've been, and we do have handicap accessible ramp that comes in. We do have a platform to get people with disabilities into the pool. We do have an arm that will go down to lower people in, but the actual pool deck is not very big. And it wasn't until we had an engineer come in, the site engineer, that said that we should not continue forward with it. I honestly, until then, I don't think that we've had anybody take a close look at what the pool was. We had the diving boards inspected and refurbished every year and did what we need to do as far as the maintenance goes, but the actual depth of the pool was never brought into consideration. Okay? Couple things, and again, with an old building, our bleachers are in desperate need of repair in the gym. We do have our carpentry crew that's going to come and try to fix some of the broken pieces of it. But when I don't think that it's financially feasible moving forward, especially if we're going to do new construction or a rehab here. I remember to replace the cost, the estimate we got to replace those bleachers was $500,000, and that was 4 or 5 years ago. So I would say that that would be considerably more at this point. And it's not so much the cost of the bleachers, it's the demolition, removal, and then to bring the new bleachers in, because we're on the second floor and we don't have a really accessible way to get everything in and out of there. So that's a concern. And then for the past few years, the foyer stairs going into the Brockton High Gym have been condemned. I guess they're structurally not sound, and those two need to be replaced. We've been making do with having people come in the door next to the boys' locker room, but it's not the best way for folks to get in and out, in my opinion. So that's something that needs to be addressed. And not so much from a facilities concern, but from a program concern that I have here. Our hockey team, we do a co-op with Stoughton, and we've been doing that partnership for the past 5 years. And next year, we are going to only have one returning player from Brockton High School on that hockey team. And that's an expense between splitting the ice rental with Stoughton and paying a coaching stipend. That's a $17,000 hit to the athletic budget. So moving forward, I don't know if it makes sense to maybe take a look at pausing the hockey program for next year. Not saying that we're going to eliminate it, but until we are possibly able to get numbers to justify us spending that kind of money, that's a decision that I would leave to you folks. But that is something that has come up on my radar where the coach said, Kev, we have one kid coming up next year. And there's just not a lot of youth hockey programs in the city to send our kids here. And if they do, a lot of times they go to a private school or another place to play. Anything else, facilities-wise?
Ms. Oliver?
I don't know if you've asked this already, but is it possible for us to have, what have you spent on renting other, like Massasoit, other facility for baseball? How much do we pay for, what the Bridgewater team, is it, for hockey?
Stoughton.
For Stoughton, sorry. Yeah. If we can have like an NMI, idea of how much have you spent for 2025, 26, of all the extra fees, so we can see exactly ways we can improve to use our own facility, so we're not paying other facilities or other schools, Massasoit and other. I know Massasoit we have to, because that's safety for the pool, for diving, but definitely other schools that we have to use for baseball or any of the other of our sports.
Yeah. The one that we rented last year was a one-time fee down at Durfee. I think it cost us $200 to rent it, so it wasn't a huge expense. Ice time is extremely expensive. I mean, I think that we just got the invoice to split with Stoughton was $10,700 for the season. And regardless of where we would play, if it was over at ASIAF or it was the Canton Ice House, ice is at a premium. They get anywhere between $250 and $300 an hour to rent. And the other rental that we have that is costly, it's not a huge expense. We do have to rent Spectrum Gymnastics Studio on West Chestnut Street for our gymnastics team that competes and practices there.
Just a quick question. How many kids are on the gymnastics team?
This past year, we had 7 Brockton students, and we do a co-op with Stoughton and Cardinal Spellman. So I want to say overall we had 12. This for next year, we're anticipating, right now we have 3 returning.
And then the swimming and diving, is there a large number of kids in that?
We have more girls than we do boys. We had approximately 24 that competed for the girls' team and only 8 for the boys. That's a struggle to get boys into swimming for whatever reason. All right, next question I think you had, Stephen, was an overview of the budget. So every year,
Well, that's the next item, so we'll move on to the next item. Does anybody have any other questions on this item? Any questions that you want to ask them? All right, we'll move on to item 5. I'm sorry, no, that is, I'm sorry, item 5, go ahead.
the budget. So our budget is predetermined at the beginning of the fiscal year between equipment, rentals. I mean, I want to say we have 14 line items that come out of the athletic budget. Some of them have larger balances than other. The biggest expenses that we encumber is an athletic department is to pay for our game officials, our police details, which is quite an expense, and our athletic trainer that we subcontract out through Signature. And last year, that was $130,000 for those services
Was that for all of them combined, or
combined. Yes.
just a question, I'm sorry, but why are we paying for details when we have our own officers?
Football games have extra details assigned to them for
Okay.
the safety and security of everybody that's there, especially on Friday nights when we have 1,000 people in the stands and there's a big space to cover. Officer Livingston, along with the school police, they assign officers, but it adds up when we have folks from the city
Are
side.
there a lot of issues going on? I've been to the games, I haven't really seen
Yeah,
many
there's,
issues.
there's just like with any nighttime activity that happens in a lot, I mean, just not here, but across the state. Yeah, there can be issues that arrive, and having extra officers in the stands and at the gates helps minimize it.
Is there less if the games are during the day?
We have found out that we have less people attending games, and we have less issues during the Saturday afternoon games. But I know that our kids, particularly our football players, love to play on Friday nights, and I want to give them that experience. So we have tried to find a happy medium of having some games earlier in the fall on Friday nights, and as we progress later in the fall when the weather gets really cold at night, that we've moved those games to Saturday afternoons, and that's worked pretty well. And the other big line item that is...
1 second.
Oh, I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Rodriguez?
I just wanted to inform the chair is reason why you have details from the city side is because you had a depleted school police force. At one time, there was only 4, and we still have some individuals. So once you have a full-fledged school committee force, you won't be using details. I think the number is like 18 or whatever, so you're not going to need more than that for crowd control.
Thank
So
you.
that's why it was details are requested.
Good.
Okay, the other big line item in my budget is for athletic supplies and equipment, and that is something that is ongoing with certain things that need to be purchased each and every year, from the fall to winter and the spring, and we try to keep our student athletes in the best uniforms we can, and uniforms have gotten more and more costly as the years have gone by. So that number, it's a big number. But we have used that money wisely, in my opinion. We still have close to $37,000 left in our athletic supply budget for FY26, and I am hoping that we'll be able to purchase equipment for next year with that money.
So we had received a document, a spreadsheet that looked like your payments, and I believe it was from, go ahead.
So yes, so I did confirm that that one was the revolving fund. So those were the money that was gotten from the gates, like the ticket sales. And so that is our revolving fund. Our actual athletic budget, which is what Mr. Caro was referring to, which is the 14 lines, that's the one that is outlined in our budget book, also online. But if you look at our year-to-date budget reports too, like for example, I'm looking at those lines and it tells you not only what was the allocated budget, but also what's been expended so far. So it's the two different budgets. So the revolving fund and the athletic general fund budget.
So who has control? Do you have control of the revolving account? The 20, is it 20?
So no, that was the one where you have those spreadsheets in front of you, and there's a memo from the city auditor.
Okay.
Those expenditures were posted from the school finance department. I still need to look into further, like who was the person who was posting them, but they did come through the finance department.
Okay, thank you. Get it.
Okay. Moving along, the status of our middle school athletic programming. I asked Nick Lee, who is the person who oversees middle school athletics, and Matt Campbell, who oversees the middle school football, to send me the participation numbers. And I was encouraged by what I saw, especially total number of kids that they claim that were participating last year was 1,050, and those sports covered football in the fall, in which 125 students participated across the city. Also in the fall, the boys and girls soccer and cross country, those 375 students. Winter with boys and girls basketball, they had over 200 students participate. And then they do a winter co-ed volleyball season, we had 100. And then in the spring for track and field, they had 250. And that was from the 7 middle schools.
Okay. Ms. Oliver?
So for the middle school, I know that we've been trying. I spoke to Coach Balboni about introducing field hockey, because she has all the equipment. She has all the donated equipment for field hockey. So how do we get that into the middle school? Mm-hmm. When is the plan for introducing that to get our girls involved early? Because I think that it's not a lie. If you look at the high school field hockey, we need help, right? We definitely need help. My daughter participated. My older daughter did 4 years playing field hockey, and she loved it. It's a great sport. But I definitely think we need more girls taught early, and then so they're ready for high school. And we're really competitive with the surrounding towns and cities, because sometimes it's going a little bit, I feel bad for our girls because they're learning first time in freshman year. And it's a lot to learn to get used to it. And when they go against the towns and cities that they've been doing it since middle school and trying to compete at the high school level, it's a little bit difficult for them, and a little bit like I can see the defeating on their face, and I can see how they want to do better, but they need more training. And I know the coaches are doing a great job, but I think that we need to see about introducing it in the middle school so we can really get these young ladies and also boys, if they want to do field hockey, ready for high school level.
Okay. And Katie and I have talked about that, and field hockey isn't only going to be our only focus of sports that we want to introduce. In the middle schools, field hockey is definitely one that Katie and I have spoken at length, and it is our hope that starting this spring, we can designate 1 or 2 nights a week up on the turf up at Marciano to do skill development for our middle school kids. And we would ask her assistant coach, Kelly Campbell, to run that. We do have the equipment provided. It's just a matter of figuring out logistics of when we can get them up there, what days, what time, so we don't interfere with track club, because track club is a big part of what goes on up there. So that is definitely a plan that we have that we want to move forward with this spring, and that would probably from after April vacation until graduation. So that would be a good 6-week window where we could actually introduce the game to the girls, get them excited, and then that would translate to anybody who was even thinking about playing, that would just translate for when they come up here in the fall.
Thank you. I truly appreciate, because I know we have a lot of old players that comes, and I see them at the game helping out the young girls. So that would be great to even get them involved to participate during training when we decide what days of the weeks and stuff like we're going to be doing this. I can't wait to get started. It's going to be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will add to that, Ms. Balboni had a program not only for the middle school, but also did it for elementary kids. And my wife actually helped. And all these coaches for all the girls program at the high school came down, and they introduced, it was like a round robin where each of the elementary school kids, girls, because it was for girls could actually see if they liked any sports. My youngest daughter actually ended up liking field hockey, which I never thought of because we spent so much money on soccer. But so it's interesting to see that, if you show it to them and let them play with the sticks and all that other stuff and do all the different sports, they may actually like it. And I think it's a great thing that she did.
Yeah, and we would like to continue that, just not on field hockey. I think it's important to start introducing skills and development for baseball, for softball, and open up the pool in the fall for anybody who is interested in swimming on a Tuesday and a Thursday from 4 to 5:30 before community school starts. I think that is something that we need to do to encourage our kids to get involved, learn a new sport, and hopefully that will translate to they come up here to the high school and play for us for 4 years.
Yeah, I might add that, being a dad of 3 daughters and a son, having the ability to have more sports and more opportunities for girls is really important. So I commend you for what you guys are doing with that program.
Any other? And then the last one was any major operational and program challenges? I think that we've addressed quite a few. The other one is just going to be, and if I'm going to be open and transparent up here, I am concerned about what my position is going to look like next year. I am going to be the athletic director for grades 6 through 12. That job description has not been finalized yet, and it is my understanding that a new position is going to be started with an assistant athletic director. That still, I believe, is in the works. My concern is that 2 people are going to now assume the roles of 9 people that we had prior, because a lot of the athletic support positions have been eliminated. The assistant to the athletic director, which we actually had 5 people in those roles, are no longer going to be there. Our football equipment manager, who is a very important part of our football program, that position has been eliminated. The middle school football supervisor has been eliminated. The supervisor of middle school sports has been eliminated. And the faculty manager, which was responsible for handling all the money and gate receipts at the high school, has been eliminated. With that being said, we are now going to have 2 people that are going to be responsible for scheduling, coordinating, issuing equipment, and supervising 87 teams across the city, across the 3 seasons. And that's going to be no small task. I'm not afraid of the work by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just something that is weighing on me moving forward. I just don't know what this is going to look like. Where a lot is going to be asked of 2 people to take on this role. So I just had to put that out there because it's concerning for me.
I just want to make sure that, we have the spring season coming up. Do you have any, other than obviously baseball in the Campanelli Stadium, are there any other issues that you foresee in the next season? Fields, facilities, anything that we need to know so that we can try to alleviate or fix?
Well, I think one of the things that we have discussed in the past is the need for more than one turf field in a city of this size. With as many people that we have using our facilities, we have an architectural drawing and design to take the two fields behind the skating rink and turn them into turf, which would really not only benefit selfishly the athletic program here at the high school, but it would also give our community and our youth programs a place to practice and play, and you wouldn't be at the mercy of Mother Nature. Because, let's face it, the weather here in the springtime is awful. It can get ugly real quick in the fall, and our fields, because majority of them are grass, are unplayable to practice and play. So I know that that was discussed. I know, Tony, you and I had been talking about that for, I'm going to say we're on 5 years now. And I would love to see that come to light, because I truly believe that is something that this city needs.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you. Yes, I know the mayor just walked in, but we, myself, the mayor, former superintendent, 2 city councilors, we worked on this project for a very long time, and the school committee. Thank you to the body that approved these designs. And if you look around for these towns that surround Brockton, they all have these nice, beautiful fields. But yet, what is the message that we are sending to our student athletes? And then when we talk about our student athletes' numbers depleting, facilities is one of those key points of attracting them. So the design is there. It's just to identify the funding source. And I'm pretty sure and confident that the mayor is going to allocate some funds to make sure that we get these turf fields done. So we've talked about it for a very long time, and we just keep talking and talking. So now he's in the position as the mayor, and he can make that happen. So I'm putting him up to the challenge to that. So, and I'm pretty sure he can fulfill those needs for our students.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? No? All right, cool. Let's see. Thank you, Mr. Carroll. We appreciate it.
If I can, just
Oh, of
one
course,
thing. I mean, I know that we talk about, we don't have the turf, we don't have the fields out back, but I am very proud of what we have been able to accomplish since I've been in this role as the athletic director. And I was able to come up with the list of all the capital improvements we've been able to do with the help of Save Our Sports and the school department to help our facilities better than they have ever been. If I can just read through some of them.
We would love a copy of that as well if you can.
Yes, so we have a new state-of-the-art weight room over at the Brockton High School gym that is utilized by all of our sports teams. We have a new practice wrestling room at Brockton High School, which we've never had before. We replaced all the weight training equipment in the fitness room in the Brockton High School gym. We've added cardio machines to the exercise room. We've installed 2 video boards in the Brockton High School gym that helps us with advertising to get money back to the athletic department. We have a new digital scoreboard out at Marciano Stadium. All of the backboards in the Brockton High School gym have collapsible rims. They're all state-of-the-art glass backboards. We have a new score table. We refurbished all the swim platforms in the pool. We have a golf practice net out back. We have indoor batting cages in the high school. All of the lights out at Marciano Stadium and in the gym have been replaced by the old halogens to LEDs. We have a new construction of a new track storage facility out at the stadium that was made possible by Friends of the Brockton Track Club. We've purchased new game days chairs for the Brockton High School gym. We have wireless sound systems for the gym and the pool area. We have a new storage cage in the gym, and our main court was reconfigured and painted to make it look like a top-notch facility. So I know we a lot of times talk about what we haven't done and what we want to do, but since we've been here, I've been very fortunate with the help of Save Our Sports and the people here in the school district to get a lot of wonderful things done for our kids. And I want to continue to do that. I want to give them the best facilities that they can possibly have. And I don't want to lose our kids to other communities that have a little better facilities than we do, because I would not trade the experience they have here for anywhere else.
I appreciate it, and I hope that through this committee, we'll be able to, on this day, we're dealing with athletics. Another meeting will deal with the music arts and extracurricular, but I want to keep athletics separate, and we plan on meeting at least once a month to talk about athletics and to look at ways on how we can help you do just that. So with that, the subcommittee will take that, what you gave us and under review, and move on to the next item. Thank you. Teo?
I also want us to think about, we also have other high schools, right? So I've done some of the tours. So it's great that a lot of improvement has been done in this school, but what about the Champion and the Promise? They don't even have a gym. So I want us to also start thinking about how can we make those high schools ready for those students. So those could be conversations that we will continue to have.
Let me ask that question. I mean, those are high schools, but they come here to play
They can.
sports.
That's correct. So if those students choose to participate in athletics, they come up here and participate.
I'm specifically talking about just the gym. So if they're taking gym class, that's
Promise
what I'm
has a
talking
horrible
about. So the basic things that our students here get, that they should be able to get. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we are short on time, so we're going to quickly move on to item number 6, and that is review of Save Our Sports, and ask former athletic director, Mr. Pileski, if he would mind giving us a quick rundown. Tony and I met with Save Our Sports as the liaison for Save Our Sports, so Mr. Pileski.
Thank you, Mr. Pina. My name is Tom Pileski. I'm a former earth science biology teacher, coach, and athletic director here at Brockton High School between the years 1967 and 2004. After that, I went to Stonehill College, then I went to a private school, then I went back to a public school, and I retired 2 years ago. In 1991, the city of Brockton had numerous financial problems. They didn't declare bankruptcy at the time, but the Commonwealth did come in, and they required a CFO for the city of Brockton to overlook, I believe, the city and also the school department. In 1991, because of budget constraints, the Brockton Sports Foundation, Inc. was founded, better known as Save Our Sports, and its purpose was to help the athletic department, both at the high school and junior high school levels, to provide equipment, supplies, etc. The two things that Save Our Sports has never paid for are coaches' salaries and transportation. We always felt as though that was the responsibility of the school department. Over the last 35 years, we have contributed over $500,000 in equipment and supplies and taking care of athletic fields for the school department, as well as a few $100,000 for ordinary volunteerism and the like. One of the things that we are very, very proud of is that over the last 30 years, we have provided the student athletes with an SAT and MCAS program, and to a tune of over $100,000. We still, would like to be a very, very important part of this community. We are a private foundation, and if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Pileski. I would just like to reiterate the fact that, and can you kind of go a little bit deeper into the SAT prep program that you run on Saturdays?
Well, we are providing it to the student athletes, and Katie Balboni runs the program now on Saturday mornings. We used to have it on Tuesday and Thursday evenings after practice. from 6 o'clock to 7:30. But the participation waned, as time went on. So Katie came up with the idea of having it on Saturday mornings, and we provide it in the fall, the winter, and the spring. And once again, we do pay for the instructors. We do pay for any materials that they do need, and we're very, very pleased with that particular program.
Yeah, I'd like to, Mr. McCaskill and yourself and Save Our Sports for doing that. That's a great program. Does anybody have any questions? No, seeing no questions.
Very much.
Thank you. And moving on, again, moving a little bit quicker, we touched on 7, 8, and 9 already. So I just wanted to bring up item 10. And item 10 was the discussion on schools' decision to follow the city ordinance on the responsibility of the athletic fields. And we had a discussion with facilities based on that, and the ordinance, how the ordinance reads is any athletic field that abuts a school property. I believe the school committee had voted on that previously to get those fields back from the city. And we had a discussion the other day with the Parks Department and the Facilities Department. And I wanted to see if there was anybody that wanted to discuss taking those fields back, and that goes along with the responsibility of those fields. Mr. Rodriguez?
We've discussed this for quite some time. It's just an ordinance that hasn't been followed for a very long time. I think the question came about when we were designing the turf field specifically at our middle schools, so we can tee that up. But overall, I think there needs to be a deeper look. From my understanding, the Parks Department maintaining our fields, they're doing work on behalf of the school department, so that's a Schedule 19 chargeback. So when we talk about Schedule 19, you have to look at all the mechanisms of how funds are extracted from us. So if they maintain those fields, which is rightfully ours, that money's coming out of our coffers and they rent those facilities. But we just have to take a deeper dive and have a further conversation with the Parks Department and also on the city side to see how that actually affects us. It's going to help us or hurt us in the long run. So, but I think it's more the middle schools than the elementaries at this point.
So the 4 Compass schools, is that what you're referring to? Or are you talking about?
East, West, South, and North.
Is there a motion that anybody wants to make? I'm sorry, were there anything that you two would like to say on it? Is there a motion that anybody would like to make?
If you want, I'll make the motion that the city ordinance of the responsibilities of athletic fields adjacent to our school properties be adhered to, working with the facilities and the Parks Department, and also I believe it'll fall under the mayor's office as well.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this has to be referred to the
Full committee.
whole committee?
Yeah, we'll vote this for the full committee.
Right. All right. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seeing a second, can you take the rolls?
Mr. Pina?
Yes.
Ms. Centeo?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
All right. So seeing that, and we're going to move on. Any other questions on that? Yes.
No, if you're going to move to number 11, I wanted to say something.
We're going to move on to new business.
So for the next subcommittee, if you can add to possibly bring the music department. I definitely wanted to see what the enrollment in middle school for grade 6 compared to when it was in 4th grade, and definitely see what is the plan if the numbers is down. As you can see from our different concerts, events, the numbers are depleting, and half of them are seniors, so we're not going to have them next year. So I want to see what we can work to bring it back to 4th grade, especially instruments, band, and really make that department strong again, because I think it's getting weaker, and we didn't have that many sign up in the 6th grade. I just want to see what the numbers are, so we can have a meeting about the music department arts on the next subcommittee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything? Mr. Rodriguez, anything?
Nothing further.
No. All right. So seeing that is the end. Hold on.
Motion to adjourn.
There you go.
Second.
Seeing that there's a second and roll.
Mr. Pina?
Yes.
Ms. Centeo?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
And we're adjourned.